listeners all over the world. Our hope with this episode and our program altogether is to enhance and foster, educate organizations and leaders on the most effective techniques and practices that foster cultural intelligence, cultural awareness, so they can increase productivity, profitability, and retention. We do know that understanding cultures has a ripple effect on the end results in our multicultural and global world. And we have a special guest today from Beirut, all the way from Beirut, Lebanon, and that's Miss Sadika Kibbi. I pronounced it correct, right?
Yes,
And
correct.
let's introduce you to our viewers and listeners. Sadika Kibi is a corporate trainer and workshop designer. Sadika is known for her unique storytelling style. She's also a TEDx speaker and a member of the National Storytelling Network in the US. Sadika is John Maxwell Executive Director and one of his licensed and certified coaches, speakers, trainers, and teachers. She's also the recipient of the 2020 John Maxwell Cultural Award for equipping others. She's also the author of two books. The first one is entitled The Temptations of the Flesh in Madame Bovary and the Awakening. That should be interesting. The second is a collection of 20 short stories entitled The Hidden Face of Scheherazade. Sadiqa has also published two research essays, articles, and many short stories in diverse national and international magazines. In 2016, Sadiqa founded an NGO called Kun Insan, which means being human. It aims at coexistence, social cohesion, and peace building and bridging gaps between different political, social, and religious communities within Lebanon, mainly through storytelling. Based on her experience in public speaking and storytelling, Sadiqa noticed how titles and labels fade away and eventually disappear once a human heart is touched. Her NGO's mission is also to empower women and youth. Welcome, Siddiqa.
Thank you so much, Mona. Thank you so much. I'm really honored and pleased to be here. Thank you.
I am impressed with this biography. How did you find time for all of this?
Well, well, when you have a goal, you just can find your way. Sometimes one path gets blocked,
Huh?
but the goal is always there. So you just find another path, and it leads you right to it.
Excellent. Well, we want to help people to get closer to Lebanon, to the people of Lebanon, the culture, leadership style, communication, also conflict resolution. I do know that we today, of course, we will find people here, especially here in the US, we will find people from all over the world.
Mhm.
And Lebanese people are one of the most affluent, intelligent, and hardworking people that I've met here in the United States. I do appreciate their commitment, their tenacity, and also their background. Not everyone know about Lebanon. Not everyone knows about the culture, and this is our hope today. So I want to just stay quiet and let you tell us everything because as we spoke yesterday, I was so touched and also intrigued by everything that is going on in Lebanon and what people have to endure. And it's very amazing. Yet they still have hope. They wake up every day wanting to make a difference and wanting a better future for themselves and others. So let's talk about who are the Lebanese people.
Well, the Lebanese people are, if I can tell you, first I can start with their culture.
Mhm.
They are very cultured, very knowledgeable. They really seek education.
Uh-huh.
And this has been going on ever I've been born and aware about the Lebanese and what is happening around me. Lebanese people strive to put money on the side in order to educate their kids, most of them. No
Hmm.
matter how much it will cost, they will go for it.
Hmm.
You have, of course, you have a social class that is underprivileged, and of course there you wouldn't find, but they will do their best still to
Hmm.
educate their kids in a way or another.
Uh-huh.
But we really, really highly hold education at heart, and we really do our best to do that. So most of us, they get their kids through schooling, through university, and even till PhD if they want. And it's the father and mother that pay for that.
Hmm.
Now, recently, because of what is happening economically, the students have started working as waiters and
Hmm.
those kind of jobs in order to put money on the side to for their education. But usually, it's the parents that go all the way and pay all that for them. So this is mainly for the Lebanese. The second thing is that we have been through civil war since 1975, and
Hmm.
I know that my people are really resilient.
Uh-huh.
They fall, they rise, they fall, they rise. In small words, we are the phoenix, and Lebanon is known for that. It's one of our symbols. So you know the story of the phoenix that
Yes.
rises from the ashes, and this is
Mhm.
what we have been doing over 40 years now.
Okay. So number one, we know that Lebanese value education.
Yes.
Number two, Lebanese are resilient
Yeah.
people. So
Yeah.
these are the two first qualities that we are learning. Now,
Yes.
the other thing, the third aspect is has to do with the religious
Yeah.
sects and differences that you have in Lebanon. Sometimes people, when you talk about Lebanon, they think it's just one kind, one sect, but there are so many variety of beliefs and practices that people may not be aware of. Please tell us about that.
Yes. Before we talk about, I would like to add one more quality, which is hospitality. Lebanese
Uh-huh.
people are hospitable. They open their homes for anyone, and
Uh-huh.
they're very generous. So this is also a great quality which I love. And until now, wherever you go, although we have this conflict,
Uh-huh.
whomever you go to, they will be there for you. They will, especially with foreigners, they are ready to open their homes and welcome them as should be, if you want. So we
Okay.
are, yeah, we are diverse in Lebanon. We are 18 sects. We are not, oh, we come from three main religions, if you want:
Uh-huh.
Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And
Okay.
we have been known to coexist
Mm-hmm.
since early times, and we were known to be one. We never thought that there will come a day
Uh-huh.
when there will be the other. The
Yeah.
other didn't exist.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So,
tell us about these sects. We know Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. Tell us about those sects that you're talking about within these religions. What are they? And if you can point out the differences, that will be wonderful.
okay. Here I will ask you to allow me to read a bit. I'll be introducing all 18 sects and a bit
Uh-huh.
where they are located in Lebanon and those small differences, if you want, in a way.
Sure, sure.
So we have in Islam we have the Shiites
Mm-hmm.
first,
Mm-hmm.
and they are mainly located in southern Lebanon.
Okay.
and in the western parts of Bekaa
Mm-hmm.
and the southern suburb of Beirut. So they're
Okay.
mainly located there. The difference between Sunnis and Shia is very, very slight.
Yes.
Uh, and it's about Imam Ali.
Yes.
They highly take him into regard, and he is kind of there's a balance between him and the Prophet, if you want. So
Uh-huh.
he is highly regarded. Although the Sunnis also they also have this high, um,
Regard to Ali. Mm-hmm.
but it's kindly taken differently in the Shia sect.
Yes.
Then you have and the Shiites concerning politics or the parliament, they have 27 reserved seats because Lebanon political, if you want, regime is based on sectarianism.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So Shiites have 27 reserved seats in parliament,
Okay.
and it's the only sect eligible for Speaker of the Parliament.
Okay.
So the Speaker of the Parliament has to be from the Shia sect.
Okay.
Then you have the Sunnis that are concentrated in West Beirut, in Tripoli, in Sidon, and in Akkar, the countryside of Tripoli.
Okay.
Only also Sunnis have 27 reserved seats in parliament, and it's the only sect eligible for prime minister.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah. Then also as Muslims, you have the Alawites,
Uh-huh.
and they are concentrated in an area in Tripoli known as Jabal Muhsin, and in 15 villages in Akkar. It's towards the north of Lebanon.
Okay. Before you move forward, who are the Alawites?
Okay, so the Alawites are also a Muslim
Difference.
sect, as I
Uh-huh.
said,
Mm-hmm.
and the difference is they are closer to the Druze. They believe in reincarnation, for example,
Okay.
and also another difference, they don't fast in Ramadan like the Druze. They fast before the Adha Eid or the Adha festivities,
Yes.
10 days before. So they're closer to the Druze belief, if you want, in that sense.
Okay. All right.
Right?
Let's go to the next one.
Yeah, and the Alawites have 2 reserved seats in the parliament, by the way.
Just to, are they a minority?
Yes, they
Yeah.
consider to be
Okay.
minorities. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm moving into the minorities of Muslims, the Alawites and the Ismaili.
Ismaili. Now, is Alawid Ismaili? What's the difference?
Okay. So the Ismaili are, if you want, part of the Shia as well,
Uh-huh.
the
Okay.
Shiites, and they are they differ from them is that they accept Moses
Okay.
as the seventh Imam.
I see. Very interesting.
Yes. And they also recognize his brother Ismail instead of Muhammad, if you want. So
That's a
as
kind of
the one
interesting.
who got the message. Yeah.
So let me understand. Moses is the seventh Imam,
Imam. Yes.
and Ishmael
Is a prophet. Yeah. They recognize
is a
him as,
prophet.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. I see. Well, Ishmael is obviously the Prophet Muhammad is from the offspring of Ishmael. Is that correct? So okay, go ahead.
Okay.
This is
And
getting
then,
interesting.
yeah, it is very interesting and confusing sometimes. And
And it's
sometimes
so
confusing.
helpful. It's so helpful to understand these because a lot of people, when
Yes.
they talk about a country, they put everybody in a lump sum, and they don't look or they don't investigate a little deeper on the makeup of that society so that they can understand how to work with them. So this is beautiful and very enlightening. Go ahead, please.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the Christian. You have the Maronites,
Uh-huh.
and they are the largest Christian group in Lebanon.
Okay.
They are mainly concentrated in North Beirut, the northern part of Mount Lebanon,
Okay.
the southern part of the North Governorate, and the South Governorate of Beirut. And
Okay.
Maronites have 34 reserved seats in parliament,
Okay.
and it's the only sect eligible for the presidency.
I see. So no one else can be president except this sect of Christians.
Yes.
Yes. Now, what should we know about the Maronites? What do they believe in?
Oh, they're Christians. They have their own church. I don't
Uh-huh.
know the slight differences between them, by the way, but
Okay.
they have also their own church uh,
Okay.
where they go to. And then you have the Greek Orthodox.
Greek Orthodox. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They are the second largest Christian sect in Lebanon, with a majority of its population located in Ashrafiyeh. It's an area in Beirut.
Uh-huh.
Another area around the suburbs, if you want, you have Douma, Duhur
Uh-huh.
Square, Mansouriye, and Anfe. So
Okay.
these are where you find mainly Greek Orthodox, and they have 14 reserved seats in parliament. And it's the only sect eligible for deputy speaker of parliament and deputy prime minister.
Wow. Wow. Okay. So we have Maronite, we have Orthodox. So next one,
And next one are the Greek Catholics.
Greek Catholics. Okay.
And they are concentrated in central and eastern parts of the country, including Beirut, Zahle, and the suburbs of Sidon.
Okay.
The number 8 is the Armenian Orthodox.
Armenian Orthodox. Okay.
Okay, and they are concentrated in many areas around Lebanon, particularly Burj Hamoud,
Uh-huh.
Fanar, Jdeide, Zal'a, Jal Dib, Antelias, those areas.
Uh-huh.
And the Armenian Orthodox have 5 reserved seats in parliament.
Okay.
The ninth is Armenian Catholics.
Armenian Catholics. Okay.
And they have 1 reserved seat in parliament.
I see. And next,
Next is the Syriac Orthodox.
Syriac Orthodox.
Yes.
Now, who are they?
They are located in mainly in Mount Lebanon, and I guess originally they come from Syria or Bilad al-Sham, as we call it, the Damascus.
Yes. Are
Yeah.
they the Assyrians? No, the Assyrians? Do they have
No,
any?
no, we
They're not.
we have Assyrians. They are.
We have Assyrians. So,
Yeah.
so is it safe to say that even the people in Lebanon may not know about each other?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. You can say that. I told you it's confusing.
We need a cultural intelligence class just for Lebanese to know about Lebanese.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
And then you have the Nestorians, Assyrians.
Nestorian Assyrians.
Have you heard of those?
They're a minority.
Those are minorities, yes.
Yes. Okay.
And then we have the Chaldeans. I don't know how to pronounce this, but this is how it's written.
Okay.
Chaldeans.
Okay.
So how would you pronounce it? I'm not pretty sure about the pronunciation. It's Chaldeans.
Okay.
بفتكر الكالدينيين in Arabic, but I don't know how to pronounce it in English properly. And then you have the Copts.
Yes.
And they mainly come from Egypt, the origin, I mean. And then you have the Latins or Roman Catholic,
Okay.
and they are altogether a minority from, and they have one shared seat in parliament. And 16, you have the evangelicals, including Protestant groups such as the Baptists and the Seventh day Adventists. Evangelicals also have one reserved seat in parliament.
Wow.
So we have subgroups also.
I'm telling you, I'm listening to this. Okay, and I'm picturing myself in Lebanon trying to work with all these people with all these different belief systems. It must be quite interesting. Let me ask you this: when you are dealing with each other, do you know the difference, or you are operating all under the umbrella of being Lebanese? Do you care who you're dealing with as far as belief
Of
system, or
course
it
not.
does not? Okay,
Of
okay.
course
Does it show on the behavior, or
no.
it does not show? Okay, I
No.
just wanted to.
Mona, I have to tell you something which is very important.
Yes,
Uh, if not for the politicians in Lebanon, no one would know who is who.
yes, I
I
agree
mean,
with
if
you.
yeah, if you leave it to the people, nobody cares.
Yeah,
So
and I
we're
think that's
just one.
Yeah, and I think that's everywhere. And sometimes I ask myself, why do we need politicians? Really, they create more division than unity. And the
Yeah,
way it should be is people, and we all the same. And then we should
yeah,
respect everyone's beliefs and everyone's system and a lifestyle.
definitely,
That's what I
definitely.
think. Now,
I still have two more to go.
two more. Go ahead, please.
Yes. So you have the Druze,
The Druze, yes.
and they are concentrated in the mountains area in the east and south of Beirut,
Uh-huh.
uh, mainly in villages,
Okay.
and they have 8 reserved seats in parliament. And the Druze are kind of secretive about their religion. So
Really?
even the Druze themselves cannot vote until they are above 40, and they have to choose kind of what you call priest or priestess in their religion, so they would know the essence of that religion. So they are, it's a secretive, if you want, kind of religious.
Okay.
Um,
So Druze,
yeah.
that's Druze.
And yes, and you have priestesses and priests. You have both women and male and female.
Very, very
They
nice.
choose
Okay.
to, yeah, and they have 8 seats. I mentioned that in parliament. And then you have Judaism, which is centered around the synagogue in Beirut. By the
Okay.
way, this year we reopened the synagogue because it was after the civil war. It was damaged,
Okay.
like all downtown Beirut. I mean, so this year it was reopened again, and mainly in an area called Wadi Abu Jmil,
Okay.
the neighborhood. It's the Lebanese Jewish where the Lebanese Jewish community is gathered,
Mm-hmm.
if you want. So these are the sects, the Lebanese sects in
All
Lebanon. And
right.
as I told,
That was a long list.
yeah, and as I told you, if you come here, you walk in the streets, you wouldn't know who is who because we all look the same, we all speak the same, we all have the same culture. If not for politicians, nothing of the differences would come up.
Yes. Yes. And I appreciate you sharing that with us. Now, let me ask you this. I do understand that you speak Arabic. Well, let's back it off here. You speak the Lebanese dialect in Lebanon,
Yes.
but you do
Yeah.
understand Arabic, the classical Arabic, as you studied in school,
Oh, of course.
right? And obviously, English is widely spoken, French as well, and maybe other languages. Now, a lot of people, they will or they do assume that Lebanese are Arabs because they speak Arabic. And that is not quite right. Because I mean, and you know Lebanon better than I do, but when I do speak with some Lebanese people here, a lot of them, they say they're Phoenicians. and Canaanites from Canaan, and they may be Arabized, but they're not Arabs of, let's say, for example, Saudi Arabia or Yemen or other places. They're different in makeup.
True.
It's like any other country where Arabic is spoken or some dialect of Arabic is spoken. People are not really Arabs, and that what a lot of people get confused on and make mistake on, putting all these people in one basket. When you're talking to Lebanese people, who would they describe? What do they describe themselves as far as ethnicity?
Okay. So, as you said, we are really a melting pot, I can call it.
Uh-huh.
And if you go back to the roots, you will find, you will be amazed. I mean, most, maybe you will find Assyrians, you will find, as you said, Canaanites, you would find. I did my DNA last year, and I
Uh-huh.
turned out to be 59% Italian.
Wow.
Yes. And I had nothing to do with Arabs at all. Nothing, nothing. It was Italian, Greek, and Spain, something from Spain. And it was a combination of European, if you want, DNA. And I had something American as well, like a tiny percentage. So if each one of us goes and does that DNA, we're going to discover some, because, many civilizations came
Yes.
to Lebanon, and we're not pure Arabs.
Yeah. Yeah.
There
Of
might
course.
be, because
Yes.
yeah, because of the closeness of the makeup of the geographical makeup. If
Yes.
you
Uh-huh.
Definitely there might be, but we are a multi pot of different DNAs, I guess, and I assume. But let me tell you something, that most of the Christians, so to speak, they say, whenever you ask them, they don't want to say that they belong to the Arab, um,
The
the
group or the ethnicity.
yes,
Yes.
they say we are Phoenicians. This is our
Yes.
descent. And when you talk to Muslims, Muslims identify to Arabs more than Christians do. So the Muslim would tell you, I'm an Arab, while the Christian would tell you, I'm a Phoenician. I don't know if the religion has something to play with that, but because we identify Islam with the Arab Peninsula, and this is where it appeared and this is how it started, this is why maybe we identify as Muslims as Arabs, and we say that we are Arabs.
Yeah.
It's an oral transmission, by the way, but if you dig deep and you have your curiosity to find out your roots, you can do the DNA test as I did.
I think I am inclined to doing that and just find out who I really am, who I
Really?
really am. And one thing that you mentioned with Muslims that identify themselves with the Arabian Peninsula, because you mentioned something that Islam started there. Well, I disagree, because it really did not start there. Islam, in its definition, is total peaceful submission to the will of God. That's what it means. So,
Yes.
therefore, Islam has been there forever, and whoever the person that first
No, I mean,
identified himself as a Muslim is Abraham. That is
true.
obviously um, who submitted to the will of God, and we know the rest of the story. So
Yeah.
a lot of times people make this assumption, or perhaps I will call it a mistake, that Islam is associated with the Arabian Peninsula, which it can be partially true, but in fact, if we go and do our research, it's not. It's simply the peaceful submission to the will of God, and that has happened since the beginning of time. And if you,
Yes, I agree. I fully agree with you, Mona.
yeah,
This is what Islam means. It is the submission, and I think that every single human being is a Muslim in that sense.
In that
Uh,
sense, yeah.
yes, in that sense. But I what I meant is where the Quran was, if you want,
Revealed.
revealed. Yes,
Or I wouldn't say
or
revealed,
where Muhammad maybe was
was
born in a
living,
way.
and yes, yes,
It's
I
more
think,
related to Muhammad than related to the religion itself.
yes, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Next topic, we are going to talk about doing business with Lebanese. What
Mm.
number one? I noticed that they're hagglers. I mean, it's very tough to do business with them because they will go back and forth. They're great negotiators, by the way. Great negotiators. And if you don't have the patience, you don't know anything about the culture, it will be very difficult for you as Americans here to do business with Lebanese because, number one, they do their research. Number two, they're aware. Number three, they assume they are the smartest. Okay.
Yes,
We
that's
all
true.
assume,
I
right?
agree.
Okay. I worked with them, so that's why I am sharing this with you. And number four, they say, well, if you're selling it for that price, you can sell it to others for that price, but you're not going to sell it to me for that price. And
Mm.
they really, really haggle with you and they go back and forth to the point by the end of the transaction or the sale, you say, oh, I need a vacation. And they may not even do business with you. They can drag you all the way, and they may not do business with you. So tell us the right way to do business with Lebanese.
By the way, this is, I guess it's our circumstances that made us turn out to be tough to deal with business wise,
Yeah.
because we really do our homework. We really, because we have been stabbed in the back many times.
Yes.
And many times we have relied on other people's kind of analysis or
Uh-huh.
strategy,
Uh-huh.
and we learned.
Yes.
So when we learned, as you said, we do our own homework, and it is tough really to deal with Lebanese. You have to really know where they come from. And something you mentioned here, it is that we have this kind of ego, and I guess it's starting to disappear after what happened now,
Oh,
and
okay.
with the circumstances we're going through, because
Mm-hmm.
we always labeled as ourselves as the smartest, and as the more productive, and
Uh-huh.
as you are lucky if you have a Lebanese in your organization.
Mm-hmm.
And we also, if you want, tagged ourselves with a very high price.
I see. So
Uh,
basically, it all goes back to the ego sense of things, right?
yes, but
Yes.
but
Okay.
but let's but let's also give ourselves the credit
Of course.
that really we are hard
Yes.
workers. We really do our research, and we know what we're doing. We learned how, I mean, to take things step by step and not throw ourselves anywhere just blindly, you know.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we're still blind when we follow a leader.
I was going to mention, I was just about mentioning that. Well, thank you for saying it.
Yes, even the smartest, even the most educated one of us are still
Uh-huh.
blind in following their leaders. But when it comes to business or anything else,
Uh-huh.
we do the homework top notch, you know. So
I believe that that goes with the loyalty for the sect, for the loyalty for that belief system. I'm assuming, and that's why there's they follow, like you said, blindly the leaders. I guess it just which in one sense you can understand the loyalty facts, perhaps.
I wouldn't call it loyalty, Mona,
Uh-huh.
because each leader is catering to his people or to
Okay.
his tech. And Lebanon's sectarian regime, if you want, or system,
Uh-huh.
based on something we call wasta, or,
Wasita. Yeah, the
or
middlemen.
the medium, or the middleman, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, whatever you are qualified or you're not qualified, this position is for this particular person from the Shia sect or from the Sunni sect or from the Maronite or whatever. It has to be filled in by this person in particular, and it's the leader who appoints.
I see.
So, this is how they are manipulating, and this is how they pull the strings mainly. When it comes to the underprivileged, he is the one who provides the medication, he's the one who provides the food, he's the one who provides the clothing, but they don't provide the tools.
I see. Mm.
So it's done on purpose. There is a strategy to keep those underprivileged, because there is a huge underprivileged community. When it comes to voting, they just go like groups of, like sheep, if you want, to the voting boxes, and they just
Yeah.
pour the votes inside those boxes blindly without questioning, because he's the provider.
I
But
see.
and they refuse to give them tools, because when you give a person the tools, he gets his independence, and they
Yes.
no longer can control them.
Uh,
So this is how it works mainly. And when you are from a rich family, or I mean the upper class, it's
Privileged
your
family. Mm-hmm.
position, it's the position, it's the power they promise you.
Status. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, this is how it works in the country.
In the country. So I am assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's just like any vertical society where authority is regarded as um, a sacred, and we have to listen, we have to abide by the rule because we are thinking that the authority will take care of us.
Exactly. This
Is
has
it?
been instilled over the years, you know. It has been instilled in brain. People are brainwashed, and this is why it's taking longer for us to cut the umbilical cord, I'm going to call it.
Yes, yes, I see. So, what should we look out for? Things that offend Lebanese. Let's say we are going to pick two scenarios. One personal, where we are going into a Lebanese house, what should we do? And also, if we have a team member, we're working with Lebanese people, what things that you can tell us to stay away from and avoid when it comes to working with Lebanese and dealing with them?
When you walk into a home, you will be embraced as you are in any Lebanese home.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So there won't be any offense, because you are the guest. You will be taken care of from A to Z, if you want.
Okay.
And they will do also. They will kind of give up things in order
Date
to
you. Yeah.
host their guests.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to dealing with them, if you want, on a different level, don't talk about the leader.
Don't talk about leaders. Don't talk about politics.
Yeah, don't talk about their leader. You can talk about
Their
politics in
leader.
general
Okay.
and discuss things, but when you start criticizing the leader, you will see a different face.
I see.
Not the religion. The religion you can discuss it. You
Okay.
can have a civilized discussion when it comes to religion or anything else.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the leader, and especially now we've witnessed it in the revolution,
Yeah.
when you start talking about their leaders, and that everybody has have to halas to be condemned for whatever corruption they've done, not my leader. Don't get there. Don't
Exactly.
get near that. This is the limit, you know.
So I will just tell them your leaders are great, wonderful. They're doing awesome job, right? Just to
if you
avoid.
if you want
Okay.
to talk if you want to talk about leaders, and I want to tell you something, Lebanese are very good hearted, even
Yes.
in the business world. So
Uh-huh.
if you really want to um, to gain, I mean, or how do we call that? To negotiate with the Lebanese, befriend them,
Yeah. Yes.
befriend them. They love that. They will have them for food, have them for party, have them for any. They just love it. They are
Yes.
party people.
Party people. I know that for sure. Now, when I
Yes.
go into the house, obviously, is there etiquette that I have to follow? Take off my shoes at the door. Um,
Not every house.
okay.
If they ask you to, yes, but mostly they won't, even just to they want to keep their guests comfortable, even if they have this in their homes. Usually
I
they
see.
don't ask for it, but now with corona everybody's removing their shoes outside.
They may be removing their shoes and the clothes and they put on something to stay away. I get that. So
Yeah.
to be safe in any household, any culture. And I deal with people from all over the world. I worked with over 122 nationalities, so pretty confident about how things should be done. And there are some times when I go into a house, I know the people, like I know the ethnicity. I do the right thing right at the door.
Mm,
There are times they don't have to tell me what I need to do out of respect to their
yeah,
house, out of
exactly.
respect to their place. There are things that I have to do just to make sure that I'm showing obviously compassion. I'm showing empathy. I'm showing
True.
respect. I'm showing all of these things, and do good business, have a laughter, have a meal, or whatever we have to do. Um,
Yes.
the other thing that I would like to know. So we've covered a lot of things about Lebanon and Lebanese people. Basically, don't talk about their leaders if you
Yes.
want to have a good relationship. Um, pump them up, pump the ego a little bit up. Make sure that you recognize their
Oh,
intelligence.
they love that.
You recognize their obviously their civilization
Yes.
and knowing their history. They come from a very rich history. And also um, make sure that you are genuinely seeking to know about them.
True.
Don't just go out there and ask for the business without getting to know the person
Exactly. And
at
believe me,
first.
they can be your best friend.
Yeah, yeah. And just deal with the haggling side. I mean, if you cannot handle it, don't bother, but just learn a way how to do business with them. And you can have them as a loyal and as
Yes.
a long-term customers, and also as a great leaders as well.
Yeah.
Now, as far as leadership, I know how it looks like, but I want to ask you,
Mm.
let's say I have a manager at work and he's from Lebanon. How does he lead? How does he lead the people? Is it a horizontal style that everyone is equal, or he is, although you may have answered this, but this is so important for listeners to understand. If they have a Lebanese manager, they have a Lebanese leader, they've got to understand this is the style, and you have to know how to work with that style. Otherwise, you will have problems, misunderstanding, and you will end up quitting that job. So, what do we know, or what do we want to know,
Okay.
should know about Lebanese leadership?
Mona, I'm going to tell you something. There is not one style,
Hmm.
there are different styles.
Hmm.
And what I came to learn, especially when I became a disc consultant and trainer,
Yeah,
that you really need to do that personality test for your employees, because each one will respond differently. Each one will lead differently according to their personality type.
yes,
So in Lebanon, we have the direct, if you want, the D type, which is the one who wants things done
dominant.
immediately and
Hmm.
perfectly, and he's dominant and all this stuff. And you have the inspirational, and you have the um, uh, I mean, the one who is analytical. You have all,
Cautious. Yeah.
yes, you have all
See.
these types.
Mm-hmm.
And once you know that, you know how to approach them. So they are like any other people I can say around the world. But
Right.
personally, I have had a beautiful experience with one of the leaders here. I used to be a consultant and a trainer is in his company. It's called Averda Group.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and his name is Maisara Sikkar.
Uh-huh.
I have never seen something like this before. I don't
Wow.
know where he comes from. He's from a different planet, I can say.
Yeah.
His company is about waste management.
Uh-huh.
And the minute I stepped into that company, the first day I remember I walked into a huge parking lot where I parked my car. But in this parking lot was divided into different sections.
Uh-huh.
On one side there was a co-op. On another side there was something called the free box. On a different side there was the huge training center.
Uh-huh.
And then when you walk in further, you have the cafeterias, the restaurant, two restaurants, huge ones, and you have a dormitory, and you have a clinic. It's a huge campus, if you want, or a
Uh-huh.
huge uh, venue.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like puzzled. And the minute I walked into the training center, I started questioning them. Explain to me, what did I see? What is happening here?
Uh-huh.
And they said the co-op, of course, is where you have everything, all the products for lower prices than you can find them in Beirut. It is for the employees and for the littermen's wives that do home produce, and they put that produce in the co-op, and this is how they have a second income for the family. So
Uh-huh.
you would find jams, you would find mazahir, mawarid, all these kind of water we do in Lebanon, rose water and
Yes.
all stuff. And then the free box, this concept, he came with it. Whatever you have at home that you do
Uh-huh.
not need,
Mm-hmm.
bring it, you put it in that box. They fix it, they clean it, whatever, and it is left there for anyone to walk in, take it, and leave.
Wow. Wow.
And then you have the clinics where you can find the dentist. Have you ever seen a company in the whole world providing a dentist for free for the employees? And we were 6,000 employees in
Wow.
that company. From dentists to psychiatrists to nutritionists, whatever doctor you can think of, they were there,
Yeah.
including, of course, insurance and stuff. It was also there, but this
Uh-huh.
was a clinic on the spot. Then you had the cafeterias, because 6,000, and you have people who slept on in the venue because they came from Akkar, they came from all regions of Lebanon. Instead of
Uh-huh.
going back and forth, they stayed there. This guy was like, oh my God, a dream, you know. So you can find all types of leaders in Lebanon, and always my advice is really a personality test is a must, so you know the person you are dealing with
So
and how you can.
yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that, and that is a true in so many countries. But there's some or certain traits that you notice about a certain
Lebanese,
type
you
of
mean, in
group.
particular?
Then yes, um, and I will say to everyone, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Oh, at all. Communication, they are very good communicators, by the way.
Um, and I got to the habit, and sometimes people may call it aggressive way of doing things or not the right way, but y- you and I want to save time if we are working together. You and I want to understand each other, and if we don't communicate, and but if I don't ask you, how do you like, or how do you find, or how would you like our relationship to be? How do you work? what is most important to you? Um, the how and what, I think these are important questions. And
Yes.
specifically, uh, the why question, why are we doing this? And I think if we are all in understanding and we start the relationship with that in mind, I think a lot of people will get along, will do good business, and will have a long term relationship. Uh,
True.
what is it that you're expecting from me? And what is it that I'm expecting from you? How would you like me to approach you? How would you like me to treat you? How would you like me to work with you? How would you like to be addressed? All of these questions have to be asked for people to have fruitful and have profitable relationship and meaningful relationship. So I
Yes.
appreciate everything that you have shared with us. So we covered the makeup of this society. We
Mhm.
covered all the sects. We covered the culture that is hospitable. We covered how do you deal with Lebanese, whether at work or personal level.
Yeah.
What else can you tell us?
Can I, I'm gonna add something here with the managerial level. They
Sure.
like to have the upper hand. They
Yes.
like to feel kind of independent, kind of given a green light to do, to take their, to make their own decisions without referring always to the higher, if you want, or the to go hierarchy wise, you know. They like to have this, and I want to pinpoint something, uh, values. I mean, if the values of the company meet my personal values, I'm going to be doing things with passion. I'm going to be more dedicated. I'm going to be, and I like to be in the big picture. I mean, when
Sure.
Mona comes to the Lebanese manager and they talk about the 5 year plan of the company or the organization, they like to see them, they like to see themselves in that picture. So when Mona's explaining, she would say, yes, Sadiqa, we will be there together doing so and so and so. They like that as well. So this is how you can, if you want, inspire them and motivate them to stick around and really give their whole full potential. Uh,
So, in other words, they like that feeling of belonging
exactly.
and that their
Especially that we have lost it in the country, you know.
yes, that meaning that their views, their input
Appreciated.
is appreciated and needed and wanted, which is
Yes.
extremely important.
Yeah.
Um, after talking to you, I'm just going to go out there and just say, hey, are you Lebanese? I would love to work with you. So now I think we covered everything. Don't you think we covered pretty much
Yes.
everything?
If you'd like to ask anything else, I'm ready.
I mean, I am enjoying this, and I am
Me
actually
too.
learning a lot of things. And it's so sad that we are so, or we at least put ourselves in this box
Yeah.
that we think our views are the only one
Reviews.
that exists. Our
Yeah.
ways are the only one that exists. Our style is the only one. And there are over 7 billion people out in this planet, and everyone is different. If we take time to understand about them, trust
Yeah.
me, we will be feeling fulfilled. We'll have an amazing, amazing relationship, amazing world, amazing outcome, and the feeling that we all belong to one place, which is called Earth, where all are human beings. So, with that being said, I am
Yeah.
going to leave you with the last statement for this episode. If you wish to add a little bit more about Lebanese, about Lebanon, please feel free. And after this, we'll end our session. And I just want to say I truly, truly valued every idea, every statement you made, every input
Thank
you
you.
gave today. And also, thank you so much for your time as well. So
Thank
go ahead. The microphone is all yours.
I'm not going to take much, but I would like to, for everybody to know that when it comes to being human and standing on that platform, we really can discover, um, if you want, the human God created. And I learned this from my uncle George, who saved my life during the Civil War. That's another story.
Uh-huh.
And he was the one who instilled in me this philosophy that I'm going to share now. It became my philosophy in life.
Okay.
And
Hmm.
that is, when you hold God in your heart, the human he created reveals itself by serving others. And then, and only then, even your enemy becomes human. And
Wow.
this is how my NGO was born in 2016. And this has really become my philosophy in life. And I have been trying to spread it all around Lebanon and all around the globe because it is much needed.
Uh-huh.
And I believe that we are born human, but we are on a journey to become human.
Yes.
And once you discover that human, you're at peaceful peace, and no matter what goes around you, like here in Lebanon, every other day we have something special happening in the
Yeah.
country. So this
Yeah.
is what keeps you going. um, your faith in God, your faith in humanity, your faith in being human, and that there will be a helping hand out there to support you, and a back to lean on, or somebody to lean on. And this is exactly what happened when the last blast happened in Lebanon. You in this, I mean, 10 minutes maybe, or 15
Yeah.
minutes after the blast, every single Lebanese were in that area helping. No matter where they came from, no matter the political, religious, whatever background, they were all there. They just poured into that area. And it's magic. It was magic. And nobody could believe what was happening. The politicians just disappeared. They didn't even make a statement.
Yeah.
They just disappeared, and all the work that was done, it was done by the people for the people. And it's still happening, it's still ongoing. This is why we are moving slowly, very slowly, because we have no help. The international community has put themselves on the side because they don't want to give anything to the corrupt leaders,
Hmm.
and the leaders are still ripping off the people. But we are coming together when it comes to that. But still, when you mention their leaders, they will become aggressive.
No, 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 no. I won't mention any of that. I won't mention any of that. This is, and what you said, what you just shared is very, very touching. At the same time, it's so important. And we have to come to a realization that being human is an experience that we have to learn how to experience.
It's true. It's a process. Actually, you're not born human. It's a
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
process.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
a process that you
yeah,
have to learn. I mean, yeah, you have to learn to become a human being.
yeah,
It's not
yeah,
easy.
absolutely, absolutely. And your NGO, in my vision, pretty much is they have a lot of similarities. Just like I stated before, my mission with this whole venture and business is obviously to educate organization and leaders that
Mm.
are in need of this knowledge, of cultural knowledge, because once you have that knowledge, your team perform better. you
Yes.
are you are in essence a better leader. So what does that mean? That means is there's more productivity, more profits, and people are loyal to you. There is a higher rate of retention, and also um, minimizing from losses that are can be in the millions, billions of dollars.
Yeah,
So
and minimizing conflict.
yes, yes, absolutely. So I think we're past
Thank
our
you.
hour. I appreciate you. I
Thank
appreciate
you, Dee.
you. Thank you so much for
Thank
this
you. Thank you.
amazing.
Really honored.
The same here, my dear. And
Same
if
with
there is anything we can help you with your endeavors as far as the NGO goes, whatever effort you're trying to make,
Thank you.
and we know you're doing a great job and trying to make a difference in the world. Please let us know.
Thank you so much, Mona. And I'm gonna just add something that
Sure.
really I'm doing now. I'm doing something called value-based leadership. You can check it out. Global Priority Solutions. It's
Uh-huh.
an American. It's actually Amish. They set 50 values,
Hmm.
and you can have those roundtables in organizations to bring people together. It is doing wonders. I started those roundtables in Lebanon through Zoom. We're doing that now, and I'm growing the community of facilitators to grow and go out there and start transforming Lebanon. And those values, they go up to 50. As I said, you have forgiveness, you have attitude, you have listening, you have responsibility, self-esteem. Amazing. Go do your research. They can be implemented in companies, and this is how you can also bring people together, and it's doing wonders in Lebanon so far, and it has done wonders with John Maxwell in Costa Rica, Paraguay, and Guatemala. He has transformed countries with those values, and I'm trying to do this in Lebanon.
Fantastic, wonderful endeavor. And I would love to participate. Invite me one day to see how it goes.
Are you
And
are you
I'll get, go ahead.
are you free tomorrow, Friday, 7 p.m. Beirut time? If you're
7
free, we
p.m.
have a
Beirut,
roundtable.
12 p.m. our time.
Yes, it's 12 p.m. your
Okay.
time.
I guess we'll communicate outside of this platform and then we'll go from there.
Great.